Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chris Sciria, and welcome to Week 11 of the Citizens Punt, Pass, and Chat Pick 6 video.
Boom.
Picks. Boom. Yes. So, even though the Dolphins are not playing the Bills this week, Robert and I are wearing jerseys, and Robert is still wearing his new Kiko Alonso jersey.
Can I say?
I decided...
It still has that New Jersey smell.
Right. Well, this one's got a smell, but it's definitely not new. Because this jersey dates back to 1987. That's how old this jersey is. This is the Dolphins jersey. The first year they moved into the new stadium, they changed their jerseys. I still regret it, but because I thought the old one was the best. But anyways, this is a 1987 Dolphins authentic jersey, customized with number 81, which was worn by Scott Schwades, if you remember him, former Syracuse star, who was drafted by the Dolphins in the second round. Unfortunately, did not have a great NFL career, but he caught a touchdown pass from Dan Marino, which is more than 99.9% of the population can say. And it's also rocking my name on the back, because like I said, it is customized. Yes. So now that the uni geeks can,
I
go
was
in.
1 year old when you got that jersey.
I'm telling you, this jersey can vote, it can drink, it can drive. I mean, this jersey, hey, but it shows you I take care of my things. You know? That's the thing. I get something, I take good care of it. So
it's still wearable.
It's still wearable, you know. Anyways, we're going to pick 6 NFL games here. And in case you haven't noticed or haven't been following, we updated our standings. And through 10 weeks, 60 games, I have a record of 35-25 for a semi-commanding lead over Robert, who is 29-31. 6 games. You can catch up. There's plenty of time left.
Oh, look who's generous now. Behind the scenes, you're telling me it's over.
Well, I got to give you some hope. Plus, the viewers like underdogs. I like to think that they're looking at you.
I don't think the
saying,
viewers like me very much.
Well, I guess they got good team. No, just kidding. Just kidding, folks. Well, we're going to pick 6 NFL games. We're going to get right to it. Our first game, ironically, or coincidentally, is the New York Jets at Robert's Buffalo Bills. And you know, the Bills last week did not play well against the Steelers. E.J. Manuel was back. I think a lot of Bills fans thought that was going to be the, cure that the Bills needed to get back on the winning track, but no, it wasn't. And I said yesterday in our podcast that maybe Thad Lewis should be the starter. But you know something? Even though Stevie Johnson's not playing, call me crazy.
Oh God.
The gut was talking to me. The famous Sciria gut. And guess what? I think the Bills' defense is going to play very well in this game. And remember, you are playing against a rookie quarterback in Geno Smith. Okay, it's not like this guy's been setting the world on fire either. I think home field's going to be important, especially now the game's sold out thanks to Ralph Wilson. You'll be able to watch it on TV in Syracuse. I like the Bills in this game.
Wow, I'm surprised.
He's feeling speechless.
I am. Being that the first game is Jets-Bills that we're picking, that you're making it tough for me here, Sciria. I'm picking the Jets in this one. As tough as it is to wear this jersey and not pick the Bills, I think the Jets, they've had their ups and downs this season, more ups than downs. Right now as it stands, they're in the playoff picture. They would get in now if the playoffs started today. I just see, I think the Bills right now, the run game's struggling. The defense, as you said, is a bright spot, but there's a lot of questions. E.J. Manuel, this is his second week back from injury. I don't know how good that offense is going to play, so I'm going to go with the Jets. I think low scoring, close game, but the Jets nonetheless.
All right. Well, I think Buffalo is, I think they're getting a little fed up. I think they know that they can play with the Jets, that they're at their level.
Yeah.
And I think the home field helps out. And I think E.J. Manuel plays a little better this week. So I like Buffalo. It's the gut. Call me crazy. But
good opportunity for them, too. Even though I'm picking the Jets in this one, I think it's a great opportunity for the Bills if they can put a good game together, win or lose, hopefully a win. But going into the bye, because, of course, they have, Week 12 bye, the last round of byes this season. So.
Now, our next game, and speaking of guts, is Baltimore at Chicago. Now, last week,
speaking of
the gut said Baltimore over Cincinnati. Robert thought I was crazy.
I love how you're embracing this gut.
Crazy like a fox. See? I told you. Even though they did everything they could to give it away on that last play, Hail Mary, that tied it up and sent it overtime, the Ravens won. The gut was spot on. That being said, I like the Bears this week. I just think that home field, I think I think Cutler is iffy for this game. But I think the Ravens...
It's always tough to tell with Cutler.
This is a game, out-of-conference game. The Ravens don't know the Bears that well. And I just think that, they got their upset last week. I think this week they're due for a loss. So I like Chicago.
I'm picking the Bears too. This is a road game in Chicago. As good as Baltimore played last week against one of the better teams in the AFC, a division rival of theirs, I don't think they'll be able to replicate that this week in Chicago. So, like you, joining the gut for this one.
Okay.
A lot of room in the gut for
not that much
on the Chicago bandwagon.
Gut's not that big as it used to be. Our next game is Detroit at Pittsburgh. I got to pick the games this week. It was my turn, and I like this game. I think this game could be better than some people may think. You're again out of conference. Okay. Pittsburgh has played a little better lately, not a lot, and Detroit, I think, is one of the bigger surprises of the NFC this year. I don't think people really thought that they were going to be that good. I thought, everybody thought that the Packers were going to win the North, and they probably still will when Rodgers gets healthy. But Detroit, I think they're going to make the playoffs at the worst of the wild card, and maybe they could steal the division. And I like them in this game. I like them on the road, and they've had some good road performances. And like I said, I think that they're just, this is their year. This is their year to make the playoffs, have a great year. And I like Detroit at Pittsburgh.
Reggie Bush has certainly added a dimension to this offense that they didn't have before, and I'm picking Detroit too. The Steelers, even though they beat my Bills last week, they really didn't impress me seeing them. The run, they had some success running the ball against Buffalo, but it wasn't like the Steelers of old that really could get that power game going. And the defense, the Bills really didn't exploit the defense. The defense is not as good as advertised. And I think Detroit, they've got the weapons there between Reggie Bush. They've got Matt Stafford at quarterback, of course, who can light it up. I think this will be a nice road win for them.
Okay. Our next game is San Diego at my Miami Dolphins, as Robert would say. And, this has been a tough week for Dolphin fans. Last week was pretty bad, but at least they were coming off a win. Now they're coming off a horrible loss to Tampa Bay. That team came out like absolute garbage, okay? It's embarrassing. Those guys should have returned half their game checks for the effort they put in the first half. I'm serious. Garbage, okay? And I'm a fair Dolphin fan. I'm an objective Dolphins fan. But I'll tell you, when I see that team put in that type of effort, it's very discouraging as a Dolphins fan. It's disgusting, actually. I'm very disgusted. And I think it continues this week. I'm very disgusted. And I think it continues this week. The only chance I had for Miami in this game is if it was a 1 o'clock start. Because West Coast teams usually do not play well in 1 o'clock Eastern starts. But this has been moved to 4 o'clock. So San Diego, I think, is going to be fine for that. San Diego, hey, they got a better quarterback than Phillip Rivers. I think their defense is okay, not great, but it's equal with Miami's. Miami's not, their defense has been horrible the last few weeks. They've not done well against the run, which hurts. And I like San Diego. I think San Diego, even though they're 4-5, I think they're a hungrier 4-5. And I don't know, maybe Miami will surprise me. Maybe, something will pop in their heads this week and say, hey, something, we need to step it up. Maybe there's less media attention this week because the Incognito Martin thing, I don't know. They could win it, but, and I hate picking against them, but I like San Diego.
I'm picking San Diego too. It's tempting to pick Miami in this one though. It's a home game. If they can get the running game going, that's where I see potential for winning this game. But as we saw against Tampa Bay last week, that didn't happen. And so I'm a little leery about how this team will play the rest of the way, especially with all that's going on. So I'm taking the Chargers. I think this is a game the Chargers could, end up winning by a couple of touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. Our next game is, I can't believe this is a 4 o'clock game and not a primetime game. And I know Kansas City, Denver is the game everybody's hyping up, but I'll tell you, San Francisco at New Orleans. This could be an NFC Championship game preview.
Yeah. And
it's in New Orleans. And I can't see New Orleans losing at the Superdome. And San Francisco, they lost at home last week to the Panthers. In Kaepernick, I think defenses have figured him out. So, a little bit of the luster's off this game, but I just can't pick against New Orleans in the Superdome. Just can't do it.
Neither can I. After that game against Dallas last week,
yeah.
I don't think anyone wants to pick against the Saints in the Superdome.
Yep.
Drew Brees is at the top of his game. getting the run in there, but he's also
Yeah.
got some weapons. That Kenny Stills was a nice pick for them in the draft, and so they've got a deep threat. They've got Jimmy Graham. You know, there's no reason why they can't win this game in decisive fashion. The 49ers, I think, have been a bit of a disappointment this season.
Absolutely.
I think, people saw them as probably one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the league, and, Kaepernick's been kind of off his game, in a few games this season, and, this is a great opportunity for the Saints to show that they're one of the powers in the NFC again.
Our last game is Kansas City at Denver. Obviously, this is the game that's been hyped up more than anything. Is Peyton Manning hurt? He hasn't practiced. Is he going to play? He's going to play. Come on, guys. As long as his neck is
Is that
in
your
one...
nervous voice?
Yeah. As long as his neck's in one piece, he's playing, okay? And they're going to win, okay? Again, home field. It's tough to beat Denver at Mile High. I don't care what financial firm sponsors it out. It's always going to be Mile High Stadium to me. And I think, like I said, I've said all year, Kansas City, much improved, but they played against a lot of bad teams, okay? I think they've taken advantage of a very fortunate schedule. And this is really their first real test to me, and it's on the road. So I think it's going to be competitive. I think Andy Reid and Alex Smith, these are 2 veteran coaches and quarterback respectively that will keep the Chiefs in it. And the Chiefs could win it possibly. I mean, you never know. I just don't see it happening here. I like Denver in this game, and mostly because of their home field.
We talked about this game on the podcast Thursday briefly, but we did talk about it, and one of the points I made, and I'll make it here again, is that how this game fares really comes down to the Kansas City defense. If Peyton Manning has a Peyton Manning type day and lights it up, and the Broncos offense can do whatever they want against the Chiefs defense, then this is Broncos are going to run away with this. But if the Chiefs defense can keep the team in the game, and this is a low scoring game, the Chiefs have a chance. That said, I think the Broncos will win this one. It is a home game for them. They might split this series, but I see them taking I see them taking the home half of this this time around. I think it'll be fairly close. Andy Reid has certainly helped that team. Having Alex Smith there helps, but they don't have the offensive firepower to stay with them in a shootout. And if it becomes like that, this game could get ugly fast.
Absolutely. Yeah, you could see like a 48-24 game possibly, but yeah, I agree with you. So
we'll see how good the pass rushers do for the Chiefs on Sunday.
So we've gone through our picks. I think Robert and I only differ on 2 games, maybe.
Well, I think we've got
the Bills game we
Bills
differ
game.
on.
Yeah, and I think that's it.
And that's it. So he's not really going to be able to catch up much this week, and I did not plan it that way.
I was hoping you were going to take Pittsburgh.
No, I'm picking Detroit, as you know. So, anyways, we appreciate you watching. We appreciate your support, and enjoy the games this weekend. And we'll see you next week, folks. Thanks.